It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Success depends upon previous preparation, and without such preparation there is sure to be failure. It is easy to hate and it is difficult to love. This is how the whole scheme of things works. All good things are difficult to achieve, and bad things are very easy to get. Old age, believe me, is a good and pleasant thing. It is true you are gently shouldered off the stage, but then you are given such a comfortable front stall as spectator. If you look into your own heart and you find nothing wrong there, what is there to worry about? What is there to fear? To see what is right and not to do it is want of courage, or of principle. They must often change, who would be constant in happiness or wisdom. To practice 5 things under all circumstances constitutes perfect virtue. These 5 are gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness, and kindness. A youth, when at home, should be filial and, abroad, respectful to his elders. He should be earnest and truthful. He should overflow in love to all and cultivate the friendship of the good. When he has time and opportunity, after the performance of these things, he should employ them in polite studies. In a country well governed, poverty is something to be ashamed of. In a country badly governed, wealth is something to be ashamed of. There are 3 methods to gaining wisdom. The first is reflection, which is the highest. The second is limitation, which is the easiest. The third is experience, which is the bitterest. The superior man understands what is right, the inferior man understands what will sell. By 3 methods we may learn wisdom: first, by reflection, which is noblest; second, by imitation, which is easiest; and third, by experience, which is the bitterest. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential, these are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. He who learns but does not think, is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. If you think in terms of a year, plant a seed; if in terms of 10 years, plant trees; if in terms of 100 years, teach the people. If I am walking with 2 other men, each of them will serve as my teacher. I will pick out the good points of the one and imitate them, and the bad points of the other and correct them in myself. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. When you know a thing, to hold that you know it, and when you do not know a thing, to allow that you do not know it, this is knowledge. Wisdom, compassion, and courage are the 3 universally recognized moral qualities of men. The expectations of life depend upon diligence. The mechanic that would perfect his work must first sharpen his tools. He who speaks without modesty will find it difficult to make his words good. The superior man thinks always of virtue, the common man thinks of comfort. Death and life have their determined appointments, riches and honors depend upon heaven. The superior man acts before he speaks, and afterwards speaks according to his action. Faced with what is right, to leave it undone shows a lack of courage. I will not be concerned at other men's not knowing me, I will be concerned at my own want of ability. How to play music may be known. At the commencement of the piece, all the parts should sound together. As it proceeds, they should be in harmony while severally distinct and flowing without break, and thus on to the conclusion. The superior man makes the difficulty to be overcome his first interest, success only comes later. Virtuous people often revenge themselves for the constraints to which they submit by the boredom which they inspire. He who exercises government by means of his virtue may be compared to the North Polar Star, which keeps its place and all the stars turn towards it. When we see persons of worth, we should think of equaling them; when we see persons of a contrary character, we should turn inwards and examine ourselves. The book salesman should be honored because he brings to our attention, as a rule, the very books we need most and neglect most. If some years were added to my life, I would give 50 to the study of the E, and then I might come to be without great faults. The superior man is distressed by the limitations of his ability, He is not distressed by the fact that men do not recognize the ability that he has. Speak the truth, do not yield to anger, give, if thou art asked for little, by these 3 steps thou wilt go near the gods. When you are laboring for others, let it be with the same zeal as if it were for yourself. The faults of a superior person are like the sun and moon. They have their faults, and everyone sees them, they change and everyone looks up to them. Look at the means which a man employs, consider his motives, observe his pleasures. A man simply cannot conceal himself. He who acts with a constant view to his own advantage will be much murmured against. Look not at what is contrary to propriety, listen not to what is contrary to propriety, speak not what is contrary to propriety, make no movement which is contrary to propriety. Instead of being concerned that you have no office, be concerned to think how you may fit yourself for office. Instead of being concerned that you are not known, seek to be worthy of being known. I am not one who was born in the possession of knowledge, I am one who is fond of antiquity, and earnest in seeking it there. To those whose talents are above mediocrity, the highest subjects may be announced. To those who are below mediocrity, the highest subjects may not be announced. The superior man does not, even for the space of a single meal, act contrary to virtue. In moments of haste, he cleaves to it. In seasons of danger, he cleaves to it. The firm, the enduring, the simple, and the modest are near to virtue.